greetings to you wherever you are. This is the centre of ongoing football excellence, which is the Etihad Stadium, Manchester. And it is here tonight that Manchester City continue their bid for total domination with this Carabao Cup Semi-Final first leg against Bristol City, itself a club developing at a thrilling rate and having disposed already on this gripping run of 4 other Premier League teams, most recently, just before Christmas, Manchester United. But they are aware, as we all are, that there is no challenge right now quite like the Manchester City challenge. The runaway Premier League leaders are unbeaten in their last 32 domestic football matches, and week by week it is with greater and greater credibility that increasing numbers suggest they could win the lot. They progressed in the FA Cup at the weekend. They seem unstoppable in the Premier League, and here they are, this two-legged tie away from what would be Pep Guardiola's first major final in English football. Champions League on the back burner for now, but there are 4 fronts that Manchester City attack. For Bristol City, a place in the Premier League remains a priority, but this has become their biggest fish for now. And so, infused with Bristolian belief, enthused by more than 7,500 who have travelled from the West Country, the players of Bristol City dare to stride into combat with indisputably the most formidable beast currently prowling English football. To beat Pep's perfectionists in a one-off tie would be a tall enough order. To do so over 2 legs, 3 hours, ought really to be beyond them. But shrinking violets this lot are not, and notwithstanding the vast reputations and the limitless talent which stands in their way, Bristol City have come to compete and believe in the possibility of making their first League Cup final ever. And so the team news. And it is remarkable just how unrelenting Manchester City are, even in their team selection. 7 of these 11 started Saturday's FA Cup tie against Burnley. Beyond those, Eliakim Mangala replaces Nicolas Otamendi at centre-half. Yaya Toure, who has played every League Cup minute so far, plays the part of Fernandinho. Kevin De Bruyne steps in for David Silva, and with Kun Aguero dropping out, Bernardo Silva comes into a front 3 with Raheem Sterling assumed to be playing through the middle. On the face of it, this is a substantially stronger side than that which laboured at Leicester in the quarter-final. Well, Bristol City, having diluted their 11 and suffered elimination from the FA Cup at Watford on Saturday, revert bar the goalkeeper to the team which was thrashed at Aston Villa on New Year's Day, but which also beat Manchester United in the quarter-final. Of these, only Aidan Flint, Horder Magnusson and last 8 match winner Corey Smith started at Vicarage Road. Of the 8 returning from a partial rest, Joe Bryan was the other scorer that famous night. Josh Brownhill is a boyhood Manchester City fan, and livewire striker Bobby Reid is the top scorer, some 70% of whose goals have come away from home. For goalkeeper Frank Fielding, it is the first appearance of this calendar year, indeed a first since being sent off against Wolves on December the 30th. With Jonathan Lecco and Corley Woodrow cup tied, this is the first 11.
35.
First meeting between these clubs for more than a decade, since Sven-Göran Eriksson's Manchester City won at Ashton Gate in this competition in August 2007. Stuart Robson's a one-time League Cup semi-finalist with Arsenal. Stuart, Bristol City have done, of course, brilliantly well to get this far. They represent the last morsel of romance in the competition, but is this where romance crashes into realism?
Well, they're going to have to play very well in the game. They're going to have to make sure they defend well all around the field. I'm sure they're going to defend quite deeply, but they must be a threat on the counter-attack. All the sides that have done well against Manchester City this season have had a good counter-attacking centre forward, and they've got one in Reid playing as the lone striker.
Once more tonight, Ilkay Gundogan is a kind of deputy for David Silva. He has been on more than one occasion over the course of the Christmas-New Year period because of Silva's very personal issues at home. When he has stepped into those twinkling slippers, he has done so to very good effect. And there will have been a knowledge within this Bristol City group that Manchester City, whichever team they parade, would represent formidable opponents, and so of course indeed they will. But Bristol City supported here by the biggest travelling contingent of support this Etihad Stadium has known in its 15-year existence. More than 7,500 have come up the M5 and the M6, and they are going to make a row. The referee is Anthony Taylor, who showed 2 red cards in his FA Cup tie at the weekend between Wolves and Swansea. And it is no slight on the underdogs to re-emphasise the extent of their task here. After all, it isn't just Bristol City who may struggle to deal with Manchester City. The greatest in the land have struggled against these opponents. Indeed, nobody in the land has beaten them this season. Somehow, over 2 legs, Bristol City have to try and find a way, having actually taken a downturn in form since their stellar evening at Ashton Gate against Manchester United before Christmas.
Yeah, they're trying to press high up the field here. Are they going to catch De Bruyne on the ball? No, they're not. But Patterson's got a big job, just playing in behind Reid, whether he goes back into midfield or presses with him. It's the number 20, just approaching the ball there.
Has come in for Otamendi alongside Stones. Bernardo Silva. Danilo going beyond him. Under the press by Reid and Patterson as a pair. And Stones for Manchester City, for whom this is a 10th semi-final in this League Cup competition under its various guises over the years, and indeed a 5th semi-final in 9 seasons. They lost to Manchester United at this stage in 2010, to Liverpool in 2012. They absolutely hammered West Ham 9-0 on aggregate in 2014, and beat Everton on their way to triumph in the competition 2 years after that. Danilo, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, getting beyond Magnusson, the Icelandic fullback, and finding De Bruyne, shifted away by Flint and cleared by Baker.
Good play from Bernardo Silva, playing on the right-hand side. Very much a left-footed player, will always look to chop it back onto his left foot. Well, he found De Bruyne. He is given somewhat of a free role at times in that midfield for Man City.
Well done. Danilo, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva. Do note, if you hadn't already, that Raheem Sterling is taking up that central position. No Jesus, we know he's injured. And Aguero left on the bench, at least to begin with, for City tonight.
Just a worrying moment there for Wright when that big diagonal was hit. Does he handball it and chest it down? It's on his shoulder, that's okay.
On that topic, it is worth pointing out that we do have no video assistant referee tonight. There will be one available for tomorrow's semi-final between Chelsea and Arsenal, as that experiment becomes more and more evident in the English game. Sane. For Bristol City by Marlon Pack.
Well, Sane missed a golden opportunity just to play that ball in behind. They were trying to hold a high line, Bristol City. Sterling had made the run. Just took it a bit too long on that occasion, Sane.
Nathan Baker, the former Aston Villa centre-half. And Frank Fielding returns in goal, his first game of 2018. I mentioned he saw red against Wolves in the last game of 2017. As well as serving a suspension, he was not involved in the FA Cup tie at Watford at the weekend. And Lee Johnson, the excellent young manager of Bristol City, sent out a pretty dilute team. De Bruyne, Sane, who can run at the Australian right now, with Gundogan alongside. Flint's come to meet him. Sane, Zinchenko, Sane, Gundogan. He's done enough to earn a corner.
But he's certainly got a different role for Manchester City since he's been at the club. Likes to run forward. We saw him create goals at the weekend. I saw him at Dortmund as a holding midfield player. The same for Germany, but with Yaya Toure playing as the holding midfield player, he will get forward.
In by De Bruyne, and rather scratched away by a backpedaling Frank Fielding.
Well, they were just called out there, Bristol City. Quick corner, nobody going out. De Bruyne, I think, is just whipping it into the box for players attacking it. And he beats the goalkeeper at the far post.
De Bruyne a little while without a goal. Middle of September when he last scored in the 4-1 drubbing of Spurs here. De Bruyne's corner. Held as far as Zinchenko. Danilo. De Bruyne. Stones. Zinchenko. Splendid young Ukrainian fullback who really showed up well in the last round against Leicester. Stones. De Bruyne. Sane. Taken off it by Brian. Nice take from Reed. Pack. Here comes Magnussen. Aimed up at Reed, seen off by Stones, came to Jamie Patterson. And Patterson saw the run from Brownhill. For him, tonight's game is a dream come true against the club whom he supported as a boy. Lifted in by Bailey Wright. Up gets Brian. Out comes Claudio Bravo, who's beaten to it by Patterson, but the flag was up.
Yeah, that was good play from Bristol City. The first ball they tried to get in behind the two centre-halves. Has to be their game plan for Reed to make those runs in behind Stones. They picked up the bits and pieces. Patterson spreading the play out to that right-hand side. And it looks as though they're going to cross the ball whenever they get the opportunity. They're going to cross it quickly.
Neil Johnson there, the Bristol City manager, was actually playing the last time these two clubs met in August of 2007 in this competition, playing under his dad, Gary. Manchester City won 2-1 at Ashton Gate. Zinchenko, who from a distance could be mistaken for Kevin De Bruyne. Stones. Sterling. Toure. There is De Bruyne going shoulder to shoulder with Magnussen. Fielding has repelled it up to a point, but it's reached Bernardo Silva, who's well held up by Smith. Sets it instead for Toure, and Toure for Danilo, who had it whipped off his toe in the nick of time by Marlon Pack.
Well, Danilo made a couple of really strong runs. First of all on the overlap. This is good play to start with. De Bruyne can't quite get in. Really, Fielding should get hold of this. And then Bernardo Silva starts to come inside. It almost opened up for Manchester City.
Stones. De Bruyne. Terrific early ball for Sterling. It's a problem for Aidan Flint, but he's a big broad centre-half and he's held Sterling up, and indeed he's dispossessed him.
Yeah, that was a big worry. Another brilliant ball from De Bruyne. Knew that there's 1v1 in that area, just played it in for Sterling to run onto.
Right. Mangala came down for Toure. Shifted up towards Gundogan. Okay, Gundogan. And a two off target in the end.
Now watch this pass here. Bristol City trying to press the ball high up the field. He knows where the space is. He just hits it in behind the centre half. Sterling does well to get hold of it here, but then in the 1v1 situation, Flint just gets his right foot on it. There's the turn, and he just has that little look over his shoulder, ball in behind. Sterling was aware it was going to go straight in there.
City seeking here to be the first non-Premier League finalist in the League Cup since Bradford City 5 years ago. And they in the end were soundly beaten by Swansea after a dream run. Victims including Aston Villa and Arsenal. And seeking to be the first non-top flight winner since Sheffield Wednesday back in 1991. They beat Manchester United in the final. Patterson, a sweet pirouette. Brownhill. Patterson. Brownhill again. And Patterson again. They picked it from Sane. Support from Corey Smith. Bobby Reid looking to run in behind Stones. And the situation well covered.
Good play from Bristol City. The ball high up the field, some good combination play. Reid again trying to make that run in behind Stones. Certainly got some pace. And Magnussen's got a long throw. He's coming over from left back over to the right hand side.
Magnussen coiling up, and that is a ferocious ball in, and Patterson's hit it, and Stones got in the way. Actually got a very good connection on that, Patterson, and could be made to pay for it because Raheem Sterling is going the other way now. De Bruyne's up alongside him, and he's forced further wide than would have been ideal. Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Touré, Mangala, Touré, Zinchenko, Gundogan, De Bruyne, into the cul-de-sac.
Counter-attack was on from that long throw. Here it comes again. They win the first ball, Bristol City. Patterson has an effort. Well blocked by Stones, and suddenly the counter-attack was on. Good bit of defending by the England man.
Ball against Bernardo Silva. After taking free kick, which Claudio Bravo read.
There's the intention again. Quick free kick, played in behind. Reid making the run. Mangala just about stayed with him. Good goalkeeping from Bravo.
Bravo, of course, is really the hero of this Manchester City League Cup run, having been involved in successive penalty shootouts against Wolves and Leicester, in which he's made key saves, not the least of which was from Jamie Vardy, right at the dramatic end of that quarter-final.
Such a big year for John Stones. Expected to go with England to the World Cup. Talk about one or two other centre-halves coming into Man City during the January transfer window.
We'll talk about Johnny Evans. Harry Maguire's getting a mention as an excellent young centre-half. Talking of Leicester, here's Brian. Beaten off it by Gundogan. De Bruyne. Zinchenko ahead of him. Sane wide of him. Zinchenko's pass. Sane held up by Bailey Wright.
Well, the referee had a look at it, decided there's nothing wrong. Bailey Wright does put out his left arm. It has to be a foul.
Corey Smith ran into trouble. It could be big trouble. He was dug out of it by Nathan Baker. Right.
That's a couple of times now that Corey Smith has been caught on the ball. Got away with that one. It's him that lost possession when they tried to counter-attack from the throw-in.
Sane. Sterling, Bernardo Silva, got a deflection, and it's a Manchester City corner.
They actually defended it quite well in the end. There's the run from Sane. I thought he might hit it first time there. You see, they know he's going to come in on his left foot. 3 players closing him down. They get a good block in the end. The space was to go down the outside and get a right foot shot in, but he can't take it. Bernardo Silva.
Says his minimum requirement is just to stay in it. Quarter of an hour gone, still goalless. Held up against the arm there of Patterson, but Anthony Taylor had a good view. And evidently reached the conclusion that it was anything but deliberate. De Bruyne caught on it by Smith. Now Bryan can counter, Reed through the middle, Smith beyond him as well. It's Joe Bryan! Bravo parries, back in by Smith and out by Mangala. Patterson shaken off it by Gundogan, and Manchester City are right off the hook. Good cup tie this. Gundogan, Sterling, Gundogan. And taken out of harm's way by Brownhill.
You're absolutely right, it is a good cup tie. Bristol City aren't just sitting deep and allowing Man City easy possession, they want to counter-attack as well. A 3 versus 2 situation, and Smith didn't make the most of it. Took his touch too quickly. Lost his composure.
Toure. Silva. Sane. De Bruyne. Silva can't keep it alive.
A lovely bit of play by De Bruyne again, taking it onto his left foot. Here's the opportunity. De Bruyne getting caught on the ball. And Smith, who started it all off. Bryan coming inside. They can't close the ball down because they've got a disadvantage numerically. And this is where Smith should do a lot better. He's got lots of time. Scuffs his cross into the box.
Sterling. A challenge from Baker. Didn't even glance over his shoulder at the referee, in fairness to Raheem Sterling. Wasn't expecting anything and got nothing. Stones away, collected by Patterson, who can drive at them again. Brownhill's forward, Zinchenko's on his heels. Zinchenko has clipped the heels of Josh Brownhill, and Bristol City have a free kick.
And they can be a threat from set plays. 2 big centre-halves, it's definitely a foul. Zinchenko went with his wrong foot. Can be challenged by Brownhill down that far side.
You are right to identify these 2 big defenders though. Nathan Baker 6'2", Aidan Flint, the talisman, the captain. The muscle of the side is 6'6", and takes some marking at any level.
But he's not actually being marked, zonal marking from Manchester City here. The nearest player to him is Bernardo Silva.
By Bryan, it's Baker at the back stick. Toure got some of it. Magnussen's still in there. Reached Patterson. Span kindly for Reed. It's Zinchenko ferried it away. Bristol City making their 3rd appearance in the semi-final of the League Cup. And first since 1989, when they lost to an extra-time goal against Nottingham Forest in the second leg, scored by one Gary Parker. I remember as being very adept over a dead ball. Beautiful strike of a free kick. Sane. Got himself out of a tight spot, and Baker found Magnussen. Patterson got into trouble. Sterling. Bernardo Silva! Didn't maximise the moment. He perhaps ought to have a corner, but Patterson's heart missed a beat all three here.
Well, it's okay playing out from the back, but as soon as Patterson took his touch back towards his own goal, he was always struggling. The pass was slightly overhit from Sterling. Just trying to get his players to keep their composure. Played well so far. 20 minutes gone in the game. He's done well in forward areas. He doesn't need to come quite so deep, Patterson.
Bristol City's first League Cup quarter-final was back in 1970-71 when they lost over 2 legs to a very famous Tottenham team. Goal scorers including Alan Gilzean and Martin Chivers, two of the greats of that generation. Chivers went on to get a couple in the final against Aston Villa that year. Had many limelight moments in this competition, Bristol City, and this is certainly one of them. And they're on the front foot again now with a Magnussen throw. Launched towards the penalty spot where Flint is up. It fell for Bernardo Silva. First there is Smith. That was nicked off the head of Danilo, and Bristol City have a corner.
Well, he did better that time, Smith. The last time they had a long threat, him that gave the ball away. Allowed Manchester City to counter-attack. This time he just helped it back in the corner.
Once again makes himself the natural target. Baker over his shoulder. Bryan's delivery a shade flat. Repelled by Zinchenko, taken back by Bryan. Brownhill, Magnussen.
It wasn't really the ideal set play. You've got some big centre-halves up there. Playing low into the near post area. Easy for Manchester City to defend.
Flint, taken by Zinchenko. Good win by Bryan at the expense of Danilo, who has had to surrender a corner.
You're absolutely right. Bryan had no right to win that ball. Just Baker playing it over the top of the fullback. Danilo didn't deal with it. Now got to defend another set play.
Same story. Baker and Flint up. Magnussen edge of the penalty area. Bryan the deliverer. Out by Toure. Forward again by Smith. Awkward for Zinchenko, but he controlled it well. Lifted again by Smith. Danilo with Patterson at his back this time. Good win by Baker, came to Toure. De Bruyne first time, Sane on his way. Pack filling in at right full-back. Sane beyond Pack. Repelled by Fielding. And away by Flint, only as far as De Bruyne. Fielding adjusted brilliantly.
Well, his previous effort was a cross. That one he's deliberately trying to play it into that far corner. Sane going past his man with great ease. Can't find the cutback that he was looking for. There's the mistake from Flint. But he's definitely going for goal here, trying to bend it into the far corner. Great effort from De Bruyne. Decent save in the end from Fielding.
Fielding played the first 2 rounds of this competition in goal for Bristol City, not the last 3. De Bruyne's take. Zinchenko. Bernardo Silva. Seen by Magnussen. Cleared by Smith. Patterson.
That's good play from Smith, winning the ball off Gundogan. That's what they're good at, Smith and Pack. They showed that against Manchester United. Tigers in the tackle, get tight to people, win back possession. Manchester United couldn't cope with it at times.
Smith. By Toure, one by Magnussen. Here's Bryan. Flick forward for Reed. Taken up by Patterson. The spare man is Corey Smith, who showed just too much of it to Zinchenko. Baker. And back by Zinchenko.
As we've seen many Manchester City fullback doing over the last couple of years. Zinchenko goes into central midfield at times just to allow that space for the ball to be played out to Sane.
By Danilo. Taken on by Sane. Bailey right in reverse again. Sane dashing past him. Fielding through out of boot. Sane again. Zinchenko. Zinchenko's cross, up in the air by Magnussen, won by Danilo, hooked clear by Marlon Pack.
And in 1v1 situations, Leroy Sane certainly got the beating of Wright. And went past him far too easily.
De Bruyne, Zinchenko. Gundogan, Toure, Zinchenko, Gundogan, De Bruyne, and still Kevin De Bruyne, blocked by Baker.
Played round Bristol City's pressure really well there. On 2-touch passing. Zinchenko at the forefront on that occasion.
Zinchenko. Right against Corey Smith, one back by Mangala.
That's the position I was talking about, Zinchenko, going infield. It just allows easy balls out to Sane like that. That's why he goes out, or goes into that central area. There's no protection for the ball out to Sane.
Toure. Bernardo Silva. Given this time against Flint, and it spins away for a Manchester City corner.
Well, that's exactly what he wanted to do. Bernardo Silva coming field onto his left foot, giving himself that little bit of space to get the shot away.
And by Gundogan. And behind. Half an hour played. Bristol City would be very happy with this.
Is there a bit of holding going on here? Right on Stones. Probably was a little bit of holding, but Stones went down a little bit too easily. And that's actually marking on the wrong side. The ball was overhit anyway. Dangerous thing to do in the box.
Worth reminding ourselves during the first leg of the first semi-final of the rules of this stage of this competition. I have to look them up every year just in case, but they are that away goals count double only after extra time in these semi-finals, so there is a little bit of a nuance. It's not quite like a regular two-legged European tie. If scores are level after 90 minutes of the second leg, away goals can count double. They count double only if scores are level after extra time of the second leg, regardless of which a Bristol City away goal would be very handy for them. But it's Manchester City raiding at the moment. Free kick in favour of Leroy Sané against Bailey Wright, who, Stuart, you've already indicated, has been sometimes harassed by his opposite number.
Well, this time he tries to get tight, and Sané sees it, just plays round him, wanted to get the other side. Lucky to get away without a yellow card there, Bailey Wright.
De Bruyne's free kick, Fielding dropped it now on second time.
Yeah, it's a real mess of it, could have gone into Mungala as well in the end to reclaim it.
Cold sweat moment for the former England under-21 goalkeeper Frank Fielding, who is a native of the Northwest, born in Blackburn. Began his career at that club and then moved on to Derby, where he really began to establish himself. Brown. Nudged from behind by Danilo.
There's that little tug on Stones again. He wraps both arms round him. Had the referee been on the other side, may have certainly given a penalty. Got away with one. It all came about because he was lazy to start with. He was marking on the wrong side, didn't react quickly enough.
Patterson away from Danilo. Brian can dig out a cross from here, and Smith is up, and it came back to Marlon Pack, who got plenty on that.
It certainly did. Brian with a really good cross. Had players in the box as well. Zinchenko with the header out. Actually strikes it too cleanly, straight at the goalkeeper. And Bravo needs to keep hold of it. There was two players going in on the knockdown. As we've already seen, they haven't just come to defend, Bristol City. When they do get the ball in wide areas, they're going to get crosses and they're going to get players in the danger area.
Manchester City always have him up their sleeve. And that is a thought that won't appeal to Bristolians necessarily. Aguero, and barely needs to say it, in very decent nick at the moment. 6 goals in his last 6 starts, including 2 in the other cup competition at the weekend against Burnley. Sterling, De Bruyne, Danilo, Sterling, Danilo, Sterling, Danilo, Sterling's cross, oddly miscued header by Brownhill, and it's cost a corner.
He took up a good position, making sure that Leroy Sané wasn't going to get there. He mistimed his header.
delivery. Out by Baker, Zinchenko. Bernardo Silva face to face with Corey Smith. He yields him another corner. They're wasting no time here, Manchester City. It's İlkay Gundogan, it's deflected wide.
And again, they're taking it quickly before Bristol City can set themselves up. Oh, Mongala nearly got on the end. It certainly wasn't offside as this ball comes in. There's the deflection. Does he get a slight touch? I think he does. Big chance for the centre-back.
So to score his first goal for Manchester City, but he had a sort of blurry opportunity then as it flashed across in front of him. Reed, Brownhill. Reed, beyond Flint. It's Bryan. He's taken off his toe by De Bruyne and moved on by Sterling and taken on by Gundogan, who's got Danilo going ahead of him, and now Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva's cross headed out by Wright as far as Gundogan, and now space for Bernardo Silva, who shanked it. Leroy Sané, Gundogan high. Well, somewhere in amongst all of that, Manchester City should surely have scored, and Pep Guardiola's facial expression suggests just that.
Well, here's the first, but it's not a particularly good one from Bernardo Silva. When it comes back out to him, we talked about him not really having a right foot. I think he showed that here. He's trying to shoot for goal, completely miscues it. And it's not a good one from Gundogan either. But I thought there was a chance up the other end when the ball came to Bryan. Could he have hit it first time? He had an overload at the far post. Didn't make the most of the situation. Very much a left-footed player. Once he came back onto his right foot, chance was gone. Not have any goals so far, but it's been an excellent first half.
Terrific, hell for leather effort this from Bristol City. Lot of the course still to run, and they're putting an awful lot into these early stages. But it's been said more than once in the build-up to this tie that their minimum requirement is to ensure that the second leg at Ashton Gate begins with the cup tie still alive. And the way they're performing here, that seems a distinct possibility.
Good closing down again. We've seen many Premier League teams back off and allow them easy possession. There's the man that's made it all happen for Bristol City.
Stephen Lansdown, CBE, a pivotal figure, the pivotal figure in the sporting landscape of Bristol, with round ball and oval. And you do get the feeling, the more you read and watch about Bristol City, that he is a man capable of making the dream come true and taking a famous club possibly into the Premier League, possibly indeed by the end of this season. Bristol City fourth in the Championship at the moment, 2 points behind Derby, who are second.
A long time ago since they were in the top tier of English football.
So it is 1980. They were relegated. Last time they visited Manchester City, never mind the League Cup tie I referred to earlier, which was at Ashton Gate. Last time they visited Manchester City was in that season, April of 1980. Eddie Houghton was the manager. Zinchenko has allowed Brownhill a corner.
Well, he's certainly causing Zinchenko problems out on that far side. Brownhill got in behind him, trying to chop it back onto his left foot to get the cross in. Zinchenko got back well.
Brownhill who takes, it's won by Flint, and by Claudio Bravo. From Smith, Brownhill, nostalgists of that sort of age would love to hear the names. Manchester City beat Bristol City in April 1983, 3-1. Michael Robinson, a great Polish player, Dana, scored in that goal, Kazimierz Dana. And Dennis Stewart, who has great League Cup history with Manchester City, got their third. Bristol City's goalkeeper was David Rogers. The manager is Bobby Houghton for Bristol City and John Bond of Manchester City. And this is Bristol City's first visit to Manchester City since. Fell at the back of Reed inside the last 5 minutes of a compelling first half here. They are wincing. Bristol City with a chance to look forwards again.
Guardiola first came, and probably still the case. Mongala certainly won't be one of his first picks at centre half. He's done well in the last few weeks to get himself back on track.
Pack. It's come to Brian Patterson. Couldn't get a pure connection. Ball hit him rather really than vice versa.
Look at the two centre halves. They go to sleep. Players are running in behind. They don't realise the danger quick enough, nor does Danilo. And again, Brian not making the most of the situation. Scored a really good goal against Manchester United. He's had a couple of opportunities on his left foot and hasn't made the most of them. But that's the way you can get at Manchester City. Balls played in behind the two centre halves as they're trying to squeeze to play a high line. Really good tactics here from Lee Johnson. They've defended well all around the pitch, but they've been a threat in behind Man City at times. Certainly been brave.
Mongala caught on it, and here's Brownhill. Reed up alongside. It's Bobby Reed. It's Stones' challenge. It's a penalty. John Stones on Bobby Reed, and the improbable becomes possible.
Well, we were just talking about the centre halves. Mongala gets caught on the ball. Could be fouling here as well. Brownhill does brilliantly to cut it back, then the reverse pass, and it's a reckless challenge and a bad challenge from Johnston. He's got to stay on his feet here. He doesn't get the ball. He gets a bit of Reed, and a penalty's given.
A moment to lament for the England centre-half, John Stones. And one of the moments of his professional life for 24-year-old Bristolian Bobby Reed. One of their own. Face to face with Claudio Bravo, hero of penalty shootouts in each of the last two rounds. Bobby Reed for Bristol City. Scores! And it is on! Just as they dreamt it, hardly as most would have scripted it. But Bristol City, improbably, near impossibly, lead at hitherto unbeaten Manchester City.
I think Bravo gets his bottom hand to it, just gets his fingertips. It's low, it's not right in the corner. What a first half it's been from Bristol City. Here's the penalty again, lovely reverse ball. Stones looks like he's going to get there first, just needs to stay on his feet. He misses it completely and catches Reed. He was first to the ball, Stones. He made a mistake at the weekend against Burnley. He's made one there.
Well, Bobby Reed, whose only previous goal in this competition came in the second round at Watford, where they won 3-2 in what then was considered a mild surprise against a smaller team from the Premier League. Since then, they've swatted off Stoke, they've swatted off Crystal Palace, they've even kicked Manchester United out of it, and now Bristol City lead at the home of the team that hasn't lost a domestic football match since April. De Bruyne.
What it probably means is that Aguero will be on at half-time. Drifted more and more out to this right-hand side as the half has worn on.
Zinchenko going into 2 minutes of stoppage time now. 2 minutes from a Bristol City point of view of common sense football. Game management, look at them bouncing up and down. 7,600 of them and more. More away supporters than this stadium has ever previously known. And they are having a ball. Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling! Oh, what a save! Backpedaling by Aidan Flint. He defied gravity to keep Bristol City ahead.
Well, it's a good run from Sterling. Plays a little 1-2. He's just onside.
Quickly taken and whipped in at Mongala, who got horribly under his header.
But what a clearance from that man there. Helps that he's 6'6". He saw where the danger was. He realises his goalkeeper's started to come out. Read it brilliantly. Just gets the touch on it. Sterling does everything right. You can't blame him. He must have thought that was in.
You sometimes hear of defenders in situations like that crashing into the post. His worry was banging his head against the crossbar. Stones away. Well, we've got a tail here. We have a developing tail.
The Etihad, certainly in the Man City quarters, is just a bit edgy now.
I would only say that they trailed at half-time to Burnley in the FA Cup on Saturday and ended up winning that very comfortably. Smith, Reed, Bryan. They went to ground quite promptly then, but he did enough. At half-time, Bristol City have done more than enough. We have something bubbling up. It is a very, very tasty recipe from a Bristolian point of view, because they lead courtesy of a dyed-in-the-wool Bristolian. Bobby Reed showing great calm from the penalty spot after he had been scythed down by John Stones in the last minute or two of the first half. Only a quarter of the tie has been played, but my goodness me, it's beautifully teed up now. It is Manchester City 0, Bristol City 1.
Try Degree Ultra Clear Black Plus White. Saves your white clothes from yellow stains and black clothes from white marks. Still with 48-hour sweat protection. Try Degree Ultra Clear Black Plus White. It won't let you down.
Introducing the new Infiniti QX80. Infiniti, empower the drive.
Happened, Coutinho going to Barcelona, the second most expensive transfer in the history of football. Steve Nicol, I feel like we should go to you first with your Liverpool ways.
Yeah, I was sure this wouldn't happen. You know, listen, it's a lot of money, but I don't see how it benefits Liverpool right now letting them go. They're in the Champions League. They're looking to get in the top 4. So why not wait till the summer? Listen, at the end of it, I think it sounds to me like Klopp has been the guy that's swung this towards Coutinho, because I don't think, if I was an owner, I wouldn't want this to happen at all.
Coutinho really wanted to happen. $15 million of his own money to play with Lionel Messi, to play with Suarez and Iniesta.
It's fair to make the point that he took money out of his own pocket to make this happen. However, it's quite a nice trade-off.
Yes.
I'll give you $50 million, and there's a $200 million transfer. So what I would suggest is that Coutinho wanted this to happen last summer.
Yep.
And so it got to the point to now say, okay, if this is what's going to need to be done, then this is what I'll do. And in the end, for him, I think this is the right move. He's going to a team that needs a player like Coutinho. And as Andrés Iniesta gets older, he's not the natural trade-off for Iniesta right now. But as we look into the future, he could very well be the guy that plays that sort of position. For Barcelona, is the rich getting richer?
I think Steve makes a couple of good points in that Jurgen Klopp is probably the man who makes this happen. And I know it maybe doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Liverpool on the face of it, but at the same time, neither does keeping a player who clearly wants to go. And Jurgen Klopp, apparently happy with what he has in the dressing room, happy with the mood of the dressing room, and maybe feels unhappy and unsettled. Coutinho upsets that. There's a very thin line here that Jurgen Klopp is bouncing on. But the proof will be in the pudding. You see how Liverpool come out at the end of the season. They finished top 4. You say they got it right.
I think the success of the Mo Salah success this year, I think, makes this move a little bit easier. Because you're saying, okay, look, if Salah doing well, the way that he has performed, you can say, we can do with Salah, and we can do with Sadio Mane and Firmino. They'll get the job done. Lallana's coming back from injury, and Coutinho's never going to be as expensive as he would be in this transfer window. And so, therefore, I feel like Liverpool says, you know what, we can cash in now, but only because we trust that the guys that are here can do the job.
I think one of the good things as well about this is he's leaving without any animosity. Normally when a team's going to lose a star player, the fans are not happy with them. This just does not happen with this guy. This guy has been gladly with all the fans. You go. Thank you very much for what you did.
Thank you very much, boys.
Saturday. The top seeds start their run to the Super Bowl.
To the end zone. Touchdown!
It all kicks off with the Titans against Brady and the defending champion Patriots. Then on Sunday, the Steelers host the Jaguars. The NFL Divisional Playoffs, live on ESPN.
Games Aspen, January 25th on ESPN2.
Tomorrow, the Gunners travel west to face the Blues in a London derby. The Carabao Cup Semi-Final Leg 1. Chelsea, Arsenal, tomorrow on ESPN.
Feel the love from the other side of the world. The game's best are back in Melbourne. The Australian Open begins this Sunday on ESPN.
Had to bring it back for me. Давайте мне, покажи мне, понимаете вы, суммаешь такой крутой, вот почему твой мозг худой.
This is the Road to Russia, this Thursday on ESPN.
It's gonna be hardcore.
Now we're talking. Easy, baby!
Mission Mudder, Thursday at 10 on ESPN.
The best amateur golfers in Latin America showcase their skills and compete for a spot in the Masters Tournament. Join us as these elite young athletes strive to forge their own legacies. Live from Chile.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
All right, how you doing?
Welcome. So, this is the all-new Chevy Traverse. What do you think?
This looks better than 99% of the SUVs out there.
It's very modern, sleek.
Maybe the most impressive part of the all-new Traverse is what's on the inside.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I missed you guys. I haven't seen you guys in so long.
What's happening?
We flew her out. It's a family car. We had to put your family in it.
Yeah, it gets 7 thumbs up.
Whenever Blue Bloods face ranked road tests, it's gonna be a blockbuster.
That was an impressive move.
This is a Sonic blockbuster. Duke Miami at 7, then Kansas, West Virginia at 9. Monday on ESPN.
Okay, commentary resuming from Manchester City against Bristol City in 10 seconds from now. Well, who would have imagined that as the players re-emerged for the second half here at the Etihad, it was Lee Johnson, Bristol City manager, who could look over their shoulders from a position of superiority, but he does just that. Pep Guardiola, who hasn't lost a domestic game this season, indeed hasn't lost one since the semi-final of the FA Cup against Arsenal at Wembley after extra time in April, is needing to ask his players to do as they did in the FA Cup on Saturday and come from behind. Bristol City haven't beaten Manchester City in Manchester since 1911. That was at Hyde Road, never mind Main Road, never mind in turn the Etihad. We're talking a different age, the early part of a different century, but they have a 1-goal lead, which I guess in all neutrality it's hard to say that they necessarily merit Stuart Robson over the course of the whole piece, but given our pre-match expectations, they have for their adventure been worth the advantage they enjoy.
Well, as the away team, I think they've been brilliant. They've defended well throughout the pitch, tried to defend it high at times, and they've been a threat on the counter-attack. And Manchester City, as they did at the end of the first half, are going to play Sterling out on the right-hand side, and they're going to allow Bernardo Silva just to drift in the centre-forward position, come short at times. So I was wrong. I thought Aguero would come on. Nowhere to be seen at the moment.
Boy's corner aimed at Stones, who was riding on an opposition back and penalised. His second offence inside that penalty area, just either side of half-time, the first of which cost a penalty. And there is not much joy in that Guardiola smile right now. What is in his favour is that he has a long time to put it right. 45 odd minutes here and then a further 90 down in Bristol a fortnight tonight, where, by the way, it will be jumping.
There's one player that did have a slight problem. Not that man Aguero, but fairly right in the first half when Sarni started to run at him.
Gundogan, good tackle from Smith. Moved on by the goal scorer Reed, taken up by Magnussen. Lifted early for Bryan, who just couldn't bring it under his spell.
Once again, the ball played in behind. Danilo doesn't read it. Brian gets in behind him. Stones isn't round on the cover. For all their good attacking play, for all their creativity, they still have a slight weakness at the back. Manchester City. Hasn't been exposed this season because most teams have sat deep. And allowed Manchester City to have the ball. Haven't really caused too many problems going forward.
De Bruyne. Sterling. Went out by Wright. Reclaimed for Sterling and then went out by Baker.
I think there's a bit of follow through as well from Baker there. He did what John Stone should have done as he went to ground. Made sure he got the ball. Bernardo Silva's not happy with the challenge.
Nathan Baker has played Premier League football on this ground for Aston Villa, last here in May of 2014. He suffered a 4-0 defeat with Villa then. Things going better now. Magnussen caught on the ball. Sterling, Danilo, and Fielding clung on.
Good hands from Fielding. To make sure he grabbed hold of that. Magnussen getting caught out. Just onside. Sane had made a good run towards the near post, was there if Fielding had dropped it.
Stones header out, came to Corey Smith. Drives it forward for Brownhill. A couple of nice pieces about him in this morning's press. Born in Warrington into a Manchester City family. And actually got his start in football as a youngster with Manchester United, which caused a lot of family confusion and consternation. Used to go to Manchester United training sessions wearing a Manchester City scarf. Gundogan. De Bruyne. Leroy Sané has pulled it.
Never looked comfortable when the ball came to him. He wanted to get it out onto his left foot. It was stuck under his feet somewhat. Takes his first touch there, it's stuck under his feet, so he had to take another touch. By that time he was closed down. There's the touch, and it's not big enough. But once again, it's Kevin De Bruyne, the player that can find the pass.
Reed. Wrestled off it by Mongala, whose back pass was far too forceful. And Bristol City have a fairly cheaply surrendered corner here.
Well, they didn't make the most of their set plays in the first half. Yaya defended them pretty well. He's the player defending the back post. He's attacked most of the balls that have come into the box.
That is the away contingent. Fantastic. He must be so proud of his club and his team, Lee Johnson. Aimed in by Brian, and Flint was getting up. Zinchenko cleared. Bernardo Silva took it second time, and he's fed it for Raheem Sterling. De Bruyne is up square of Sterling. Sterling could go himself. Fielding thwarts him. Sane, Toure, De Bruyne, and Fielding clings on. Big chance.
Big chance. He was hesitant. Sterling was always looking for that pass across instead of just going himself. Eventually went himself, but he allowed the defender to get back at him on his left foot. He's not quite as confident as on his right.
Fist clearance from Fielding. Magnussen. Reed, who in the moments leading up to half-time scored what was Manchester City's 17th goal in their League Cup run this year. They're 12th in 4.5 games now against Premier League opponents. 17 goals in a cup competition, scored, interestingly enough, by 12 different scorers. And he becomes the 5th of them to have scored twice. They've spread the goals around. De Bruyne. Danilo, Sterling, didn't work out. Baker cleared. Bernardo Silva, good ball. Raheem Sterling. Magnussen's got the problem.
Quite sure what Sterling was trying to do there. He had the overlapping run, they had a 2v1. Just needs to drag the defender infield and slip it down the outside for Danilo.
Bravo overcomplicating.
And those three, Bravo, Stones and Mongala, haven't looked particularly confident when they've been in possession at times. That's how the penalty was given away. Mongala got caught on the ball. Stones then made a rash challenge.
Reed, Patterson. Held up by De Bruyne. Forced back towards Baker. Magnussen. Right. Brownhill. Patterson was the willing runner. Claudio Bravo found a way out to De Bruyne, and Manchester City can counter quickly here. Sterling one way, Sane the other. Bernardo Silva through the middle. Here is Raheem Sterling. Here's Kevin De Bruyne, and Manchester City have their equaliser. It's what he does, it's what they do. In a flash, they find a way.
And a lot of the credit has to go to the goalkeeper. Look at this, he's calm, he's composed, he plays beyond 5 of the Bristol City players. Now there's problems. So almost a 5-on-4 at one stage. Great reverse pass, and De Bruyne with the inside of his right foot just wraps his foot round it, and a good finish. But that was started by the composure of Claudio Bravo. Hasn't been at his best tonight on the ball, but that was brilliant from him. And no real chance for the goalkeeper. It was past him by the time he got that left hand down. Must get an assist for that, Bravo.
Best part of a month since Kevin De Bruyne last scored. It is his 7th goal of the season, his first in this competition this season. Indeed, the first League Cup tie he has started. And he has made the impact that Manchester City so profoundly required of him.
That's exactly why Pep Guardiola wants his goalkeepers to be good footballers, so that when teams do press, they've got the composure to play beyond that pressure or play round it. And that time Bravo picked out the perfect pass.
Spoken of Bristol City scoring their 17th goal in the competition just before half-time. Anthony Taylor has had his attention brought to a challenge from Aidan Flint long after the ball had gone on Kevin De Bruyne.
It's just outside the box. He's a bit lucky here. He plays it back to his goalkeeper, gets in the way of De Bruyne. Right on the edge of the box, and he's got a yellow card for it. Doesn't throw any arms at him, just stands in his way. To be able to shield the ball, you have to make sure you're within playing distance of it, and he wasn't.
So Aidan Flint is in the book, and that's a potential problem for Bristol City. But the immediate term problem is a Manchester City free kick, because we know they have a ferociously talented queue of would-be set-piece takers here. Any of the 5 you see there might easily step forward to strike this.
And Anthony Taylor has taken the ball back quite a long way here. His team are back in the game. Did they take the lead? Who's the favourite? We're all having a look at it. Yaya Toure has been deadly from free kicks over the last few years.
Another yellow card. Possibly for Smith for emerging from the wall. We'll confirm that for you as and when. I think it is Smith. He wanted to pace it out. De Bruyne, Gundogan, Sane, Toure. In no particular order. Kevin De Bruyne into the wall that had rushed out of its shape.
Well, what Bristol City were complaining about is that they were around about 12 or 13 yards back. So rather than just stay in their wall, came out and charged it down.
De Bruyne's goal was only the fourth that Manchester City have scored in this competition this season. Of course, they played 2 fewer rounds than Bristol City. The challenges are starting to fly in now. And Anthony Taylor is suddenly over-employed. Bryan is the latest to be called in for a disciplinary word.
Well, he would say he got the ball. It's a strong challenge. It wasn't a particularly good pass. He got the ball, but now got a bit of Sterling, and unfortunately, I don't think he's challenging from behind. He's challenging from the side. I think it's a good tackle.
There's an understandable keenness in the Bristol City ranks not to disintegrate, not to melt, as others have this season. Sometimes when Manchester City have turned up the wick. Zinchenko. Sane, it's a lovely take. But he couldn't set it back for those in the middle, and Bryan's got in again, and he's going to have to see a card this time. So indeed he does. There's 3 yellow cards in the blinking of an eye.
Was he offside? Touch and go. He's got the benefit of the doubt. They tried to hold a high line. He made the run in behind, couldn't find the final pass. And Bryan lets it run across his body. Good play from Kevin De Bruyne. Gets there first. Bryan's actually trying to kick the ball rather than De Bruyne, but he's late.
They've been so composed for so much of the first half. Bristol City just looking for the first time on the night, a little bit ragged, a little bit desperate over the course of the last 5 minutes or so. In by Sane, Fielding has spilt it. He's belted away as far as De Bruyne again.
His handling in the main has been good, Fielding. Just a couple of these drops, and that was a dangerous one. Actually a good delivery into the box, and it looked as though Sterling was just going to get his head on it. Flint had a little toe poke at it. It's a good delivery. He's actually trying to hold it, he's trying to push it away, which was a poor attempt in the end.
Reed. Patterson couldn't keep it. Magnuson heaved it up high. Stones beneath it. Nice in turn by Flint. Zinchenko jumping with Brownhill. Sane forced back. Yaya Toure for Manchester City. Double medal winner in this competition. Zinchenko. That's a lovely diagonal for Sterling. He's got Danilo going beyond him and flicks it in just beyond Gundogan. Brownhill tries a trick shot. It doesn't come off. Zinchenko. Sane loops up onto the roof of the net, and it's a corner.
Well, you said it a couple of minutes ago, they're starting to look a little bit ragged. Complete miss kick, just hits his standing foot, gives it away, then as he gets up, doesn't pick up. Just about defend it. Smith once again doing well defensively.
Leroy Sané's take. Cleared behind by Marlon Pack.
He's in that near post zone to do exactly that. Get to the ball first as players try and make it runs across him.
Sané again, Pack again. De Bruyne. Loops up in the air off Pack. Fielding kept his eye on it.
Just need a good couple of minutes here, Bristol City. Get a little bit of possession, get higher up the field.
As mentioned earlier in the game, they don't actually come into this tie in especially good form. Since the Manchester United miracle, they have just one win in 5. And in fact 3 defeats in a row coming into this. Just a big game against their league leaders Wolves. Last thing 2017, suffered a heavy defeat at promotion rivals Aston Villa. First thing 2018. Don't think they, in all truth, invested too much in Saturday's FA Cup tie at Watford. But even if you disregard that, things have just got a little bit wobbly either side of the new year, which you wouldn't have noted in the first half here when they were terrific. And here's Patterson trying to get on the front foot again now and aiming it in towards Reed. Claudio Bravo is there.
That was better defending from Flint. Just stepped off, didn't try and play offside. Knew that Bernardo Silva didn't have the pace to run beyond him.
Offside against Bobby Reed.
He missed the first opportunity when Brownhill got the ball. And that, I think, is what Reed is saying. Chance was on to play him in. He was onside the first time, but when it was played square, he tried to make another run. Stones just stepped up and played him offside.
Bernardo Silva. Zinchenko. Danilo. Zinchenko. Sané. Nicely worked. Smith for Reed. Reed left it behind for Patterson. Corey Smith has caught it up again. Magnussen is wide of him. Reed. Brownhill's ahead of him. Pack. Magnussen showing adventure. He was actually offside. Too much adventure.
That was better. So they played around that initial pressure, just gave themselves enough time to get players in support of the ball. There's going to be some very tired legs amongst these Bristol City players and tired minds at times.
Sterling. De Bruyne. Lifted up towards Sané and very well seen by Bailey Wright. They can't keep it from going behind.
Good positional play from the right back, had to be round on the cover. Adjusted his position so he could cut out that crossfield pass.
Sané's take again. Once more it's Marlon Pack doing duty at the near post. Do have a very, very good record on the road this season, Bristol City. They've only lost twice away from Ashton Gate throughout the whole championship campaign. One of those was their first away game of the whole season at Birmingham City, and the other one was the most recent, also in the city of Birmingham at Aston Villa on New Year's Day. Between those two, they've been very good on their travels. And lovely for them to get out of this ground unbeaten. 25 minutes or so of hard graft ahead of them. Toure. Sterling. Bernardo Silva. Sane. By Brownhill, held by Patterson. Brownhill's clearance. And slivered under challenge from Mangala. Gundogan. Toure. Zinchenko. Danilo. Zinchenko.
The problem that Man City have, they just can't cross the ball in and play that little diagonal. Nobody with any height in the box. They're going to have to play their way through Bristol City here. They have to move it a little bit quicker. There's the forward pass.
De Bruyne, Sterling! Fielding threw out a hand, and it was enough.
Well, there was the injection of pace. The forward run from Kevin De Bruyne, the forward pass. Sterling with good movement to get the opposite side of Flint. And a decent save in the end from the goalkeeper.
Movement on the Manchester City bench as they seek a winner on the night, and the word is that Kun Aguero, more than the word, you can see it with your own eyes, is about to come on, I gather, in place of Yaya Toure. Sane. Gundogan. Sane! He's tracked another one wide.
I think he was caught in two minds here, whether to go with his laces or the inside of his left foot. Decided to go with the inside of his left foot. He's always going wide of that far post. Here is the change.
Substitution for City coming off, the number 42, Yaya Toure.
Indeed, Yaya Toure, who is going to miss minutes in the League Cup competition for the first time this season, and as Gabriel Jesus looks dolefully on, Sergio Aguero, as the only senior centre-forward available, takes his place for the last 20 minutes plus of the first leg. As I say, 6 goals in his last 6 starts. Scored at Swansea in the Premier League, 2 against Bournemouth, 1 against Watford earlier this calendar year, and 2 in the FA Cup against Burnley as they turned it round on Saturday.
What it does mean is that Gundogan will be the holding midfield player. Bernardo Silva will drop one back, and Aguero will go and play up front with Sterling out on the right-hand side and Sane on the left.
On the brink of his first English final, Pep Guardiola. Offside against Reed. And Bristol City are about to make their first change, and they're going to offer a debut here to a young Liam Walsh, about whom more in a second. Gundogan. Sane. Too much for Sterling. Collected by De Bruyne. Danilo. De Bruyne. And out by Baker.
Well read by Baker as well. So many defensive trying to hold a high line. He saw the danger, just dropped in.
Sterling. De Bruyne. It's too heavy for Sterling. Referee possibly saw a push anyway. And Bristol City will have a chance now to make that change. And the player being withdrawn is Horder Magnussen, which makes me wonder whether Joe Bryan might slip into the left back role now. That is for confirmation. This is Liam Walsh, 20-year-old Merseysider, who only signed for Bristol City from Everton last Friday. He started this season as a loanee at Birmingham City, played 3 games there. And so this is his first team appearance of any sort since the middle of September. It is quite a stage to come on to.
I think you're absolutely right. Brian will probably drop that little bit deeper into the left-back position. What an opportunity. Just telling one or two of the other players what the formation is, where he's going to go and play.
Reed. Carried off it by Mangala.
So Walsh is going to drop into midfield, and it means that Smith is going to play further forward, and he's going to try and do a man marking job on De Bruyne here.
Sterling. De Bruyne.
Johnson thinking that the main man, as I think everybody knows, is De Bruyne. He's the one player who's still been able to pick out his passes yet, and he's definitely doing a man marking job on him. Smith.
Gundogan. Well, it's a very interesting tactic. It's been so often mooted as a possibility by football theorists over the course of the season. The counter to it is, of course, Stuart, if you choose to man mark one, they've got plenty of others who can damage you.
And the other thing is that player can go into different positions. It messes up your team shape. You're not playing. Most teams defend zonally. I'm not talking about set plays, but around the field they defend to where the ball is. And that makes it more difficult when you've got somebody man marking the player of the opposition. Interesting to see whether De Bruyne takes him into wide areas, whether he goes deeper, whether he goes further forward. Teams doing it more and more against him as time goes on, such as he's been his influence this season. We've seen it happen to Hazard at Chelsea.
Stones. Sterling. Danilo. Zinchenko. Sane. Zinchenko. Sane. De Bruyne, it's a lovely thought. And the raised voices are Bristolian voices, singing without accuracy but with plenty of passion that there's only one team in Bristol. There is another one, those of you not aware, called Bristol Rovers. The Gas, they're called, or the Pirates. Bristol City don't like them very much, but that's normal. There was a big fuss last year when a Rovers player joined City, Martin Taylor. 43,500 here, of which, as mentioned, 7,500 have come from Bristol.
Not had the best of evenings. Mangala called in possession for the penalty. There he showed his nerves and lack of technique again.
Followed by Walsh, pursued by Patterson, picked off by Claudio Bravo, and Manchester City are on their way again.
Over the last 10 minutes or so, Bristol City found or regained their composure. They've stopped Manchester City playing at high tempo. They weren't quite so threatening in the last 10 minutes.
For Bernardo Silva. Danilo. Gundogan, Zinchenko. Danilo. Taken away by Pack. Who was balked as he tried to retain or regain his balance.
No impact from Sergio Aguero at the moment. He's hardly touched the ball. Argentinian since he's been on.
Forward by Flint, across comes Mongala again, wary of Bobby Reed.
And they've used that tactic quite a bit. That big diagonal out to Brownhill up against Zinchenko in the air. He flicks it on. Reed chases onto it.
There's no Magnussen now to hurl his great missile into the penalty area. So it's going to be an orthodox throw from Brownhill. Walsh couldn't make it stick. Aguero runs away with it. Bernardo Silva's ahead of him, so here is Sterling. Danilo's going to gallop beyond him. Raheem Sterling uses the space. Bernie Wright tweaks it out.
And they've now got everybody behind the ball. Reed no longer playing just as the lone striker. At times he's going back into a full-back position. Certainly running into wide areas to stop Danilo getting forward.
Aguero slipping away from Walsh. Face to face with Bryan, who installed at left back. Bernardo Silva. Fielding can let it go.
Well, Bernardo Silva will be saying that Sane should have got round the back there. What an evening it's been for those supporters.
A very adept performance at left back from Alexander Zinchenko, the 21-year-old Ukrainian. He's replaced by Kyle Walker. I assume we'll go to right back with Danilo swapping sides. That's to be confirmed.
There is Danilo heading the ball at left back. Haven't seen so much of Sane in a 1v1 against Wright in this second half. Flint will go up for this. He's going to be the target. Man City, as they so often do, trying to hold an offside line really high up the field. Anything whipped in behind them can cause them a problem.
By contrast with the first half, Bristol City have provided almost nothing offensive since the break. Pack. I would think they would want to simplify and just get it into the danger zone. In short for Patterson, he has won a throw which Brownhill will take. Last 10 minutes.
And he's going to attempt a long one. Not sure it's going to be of the same quality of Magnussen.
Just a near post. And Mongala has had to nudge it behind for a corner. That's about as good an outcome as he could really have expected.
It's had the desired effect. They've now got the set play. No Yaya Toure on the field, who won a lot of balls that came into the box. Needs a good delivery from Bryan, who's gone over to this near side.
It is Bryan who takes, it's Mongala who clears. Sterling got a toe on it. There's one back by Brownhill. Bryan, Pack. Bryan. Bristol City's throw.
And it was a high boot from Sterling. Trying to control the ball here. Some referees would have given a free kick for that.
Walsh. Right. Nudge down for Reed. He's never settled over the volley.
Just needed a bit more composure there.
Last 8.5 minutes, and then Bristol City will prepare for a big league game against Norwich this coming Saturday. They go to Derby the following Friday night before the second leg at home to Manchester City on Tuesday the 23rd. Manchester City also have a major engagement this weekend. They are at Anfield on Sunday in what ought to be a fabulously entertaining game of football between two attacking teams. Sane. Walker. Sane. Walker. Out by Baker. And further out by Walsh.
And no forward pass now.
Bravo, better not lose it here. Not the prettiest clearance. But he should be back before the ball lands. Gundogan can tidy up.
And for the first time in the game, we've seen Leroy Sané and Sterling change wings. Sterling's out on this left-hand side. Sané's gone to the right.
Sane. Brian backpedaling. Holding his ground well so that Patterson can clear, but not very far. Bernardo Silva. Sane. De Bruyne. Walker driving past Patterson, aiming it in for Sterling. And now Danilo against Wright. Danilo now for Gundogan. Sterling. Okay, Gundogan bounces out off Flint. Stones. Bernardo Silva. Flint again. I think I just said Flintstones, didn't I?
As long as it wasn't Fred.
Gundogan. Danilo.
He was looking to cross it, and everybody was standing outside the box at Manchester City. Aguero outside the box.
Thrashed away by Baker.
They've looked quite comfortable in the last 10-15 minutes, Bristol City. Yes, they're not posing a threat on the counter-attack, but they're not allowing Manchester City to get in behind them. Defending in numbers, they're defending well, they're reading danger.
Bernardo Silva. You don't want to let Walker get in behind. They're well kept by Reed. Brownhill. Walsh. Pack. Brownhill. Going forward for Reed. Who has won it well. Maybe Reed won't be bullied. Pack.
Well, if he was thinking about buying a centre-half, Pep Guardiola, in the January transfer window, the performance of Stones might have encouraged him to do so. He's looked very shaky tonight, the England centre-back. As you said earlier, talk of Maguire, talk of Johnny Evans. Maguire probably the best footballing centre-half in England at the moment.
Sane, last 4.5 minutes. Gundogan. Bernardo Silva. Kyle Walker. Gundogan. Aguero. Danilo. Gundogan. De Bruyne bursting away from Smith. Kevin De Bruyne! He's got a corner out of it. He was very close to getting more than that.
But he's still the player that looks as though he could unlock Bristol City. Great run, he tries to toe poke it in between the defender's legs, just gets a touch on it, Flint.
Made a mug of his man marker. Pep Guardiola, this would be at 90 minutes, a third consecutive League Cup draw. Round 4, 0-0 against Wolves, on the way to extra time and penalties. Round 5, 1-1 at Leicester, extra time and penalties. This has a second leg to go. And if you think the atmosphere they're creating here is good, then you want to hear Ashton Gate 2 weeks from now. And strictly speaking, based on tonight's scoreline, if it doesn't change, Bristol City will have an advantage because their goal is away. Here's Patterson. Squeezed against Stones. Came down for Brownhill. Patterson. Manchester City defending in numbers.
This is exactly where they want the ball. Is there a handball in here? And it hits him on the top of the arm, but can't give handball for that. Gundogan. Complete accident, bounces up.
Brownhill thrust in towards Baker at the near post. Walsh! That could have been some debut moment.
I think he'd be disappointed in the end. Didn't have a lot of time, but as it's just touched to him here, should be able to get that on target. Just slices across it. Well, they've given it away here, Man City.
Patterson. Smith. Walsh. Patterson. Bradley Wright. And again. Thumped away by Mongala.
Just beginning to show their quality on the ball again, Bristol City. They had that 10-15 minutes where they lost their composure, some rash challenges, and Man City got back into the game. I have to credit Lee Johnson for his game plan. I have to credit the players for carrying it out.
A minute of the 90 to play, plus we hear 3 additional minutes and then 90 more in Bristol a fortnight from now. Kyle Walker. Raheem Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne. Kyle Walker. Out by Baker, on by Walsh. There's really nowhere for Reed to go from there. De Bruyne. Walker. De Bruyne. And sticking manfully to his task. Walker again. Can't get past Patterson.
He's almost playing in a left-back position at the moment, Patterson.
Sterling. Running away from Reed and Patterson and Bryan and setting it for Sane. Crashed out by Aidan Flint.
Again on his weaker side, Sane on his right foot, just couldn't wrap his foot round it. Sterling with a really good run.
Bernardo Silva. Stones. Gundogan. Danilo. Gundogan. Bernardo Silva. Anywhere will do for Aidan Flint. Manchester City seeking a winner on the night. On the cusp, regardless of that, of their 33rd domestic game unbeaten. De Bruyne. Brownhill, the defender.
And Smith has almost given up his man-to-man duties. He's gone back to him now.
Gundogan. Stones. Sterling. Walker. Stones. Bernardo Silva. Aguero, of course, at last. Manchester City have gone and nicked it late, and Bristol City's players are crushed.
What a delivery into the ball. For once they lost concentration. They didn't pick up Bristol City. Aguero making that little darting run. And he's brave to get ahead of the goalkeeper. Just on his left foot, he's onside. He gets in behind Flint, who started to go towards Danilo. And there was Aguero, and he did really well to get across the front of the goalkeeper. He had to be brave. Fielding was coming out quickly, got nowhere near it. What a good header. Great understanding of where the space was. He was being marked by that man. Danilo made the run across him. Flint went to him, and there was the space for Aguero,
who snatched his 19th goal of the season, his first in this competition, and almost certainly the winner on the night. And it would be a failure to report with accuracy if you didn't say that Manchester City have been making that come for quite a while now, which is not to detract, Stuart, in any sense from the truly manful effort Bristol City have put in here.
Bristol City have played far better than most Premier League teams have done at the Etihad. They've had a go. Haven't been so much of a threat on the counter-attack in the second half. Understandably, they were tired. They pressed the ball in the first half. They won it back in good areas. Reed kept on threatening the back of Stones and Mangala. The supporters and Lee Johnson have to be very proud of their players.
Pride in defeat for Bristol City. For now, only temporary defeat. They have 90 minutes on their own patch to turn it round. But tonight it was Manchester City who from behind succeeded in turning it round. Encouraging words, I'm sure, from Guardiola for Lee Johnson. The Spanish maestro cannot help but have been impressed by Bristol City's attitude, application, purposefulness and positivity. They had a lead on half-time courtesy of Bobby Reed's penalty, but piece by piece Manchester City found the way to change the dynamic of the game. Kevin De Bruyne came up with a splendid equaliser, and Kun Aguero scored in stoppage time, a winner on the night, which Manchester City's pressure probably merited. The final score, though only at the halfway point of the tie, Manchester City 2, Bristol City 1.
On behalf of the players, manager and all the staff here at Manchester City, thank you once again for your loud and loyal support. For our visitors making the trip back to Bristol tonight, and also for those Blues making a trip to Ashton Gate for the second leg on Tuesday the 23rd of January, have a safe journey.